Hi, welcome to Lies and Secrets channel. We hope you will have fun with us. Enjoy watching. When Henry and I tied the knot, I was well aware that he came with a complete set including his quirks, his tails, and Jack, a golden Labrador brimming with vitality and eyes that gleamed with happiness. Jack had been a part of Henry's life well before I entered the picture. Their bond was unmistakable. Whenever Henry walked through the door, Jack's tail would wag so vigorously it seemed it might just fly off. I found it endearing. Yet somewhere inside I harbored a bit of insecurity. How was I to match up to such a long-standing and cherished bond? Initially, Jack treated me courteously. He didn't shun me, but he didn't go out of his way to warm up to me either. It was as though he was assessing me, thinking, all right, she's here, but is she dependable? He shadowed me throughout the house, maintaining a careful distance, almost as if he was saying, "You're pleasant, but you're no Henry." It was nearly comical, as if he had resolved that I was merely a long-term visitor. Despite this, I was somewhat disheartened after all. He had been Henry's loyal friend for so many years, a fact I deeply respected. Truth be told, I hadn't had much experience with pets and was at a loss about how to bond with Jack. Whenever I attempted, he gave me a look that seemed to say she still hasn't figured it out. I felt more like a housemate than a significant presence in his life. But then one seemingly ordinary day brought a significant shift. That morning everything started to change. Henry had gone to work early as usual, and the sound of his car faded into the distance. Still feeling a bit sluggish, I walked into the bedroom to make the bed. As I straightened the sheets, I sensed someone watching me turning around. I saw Jack in the doorway, giving me a deep, meaningful stare that only a dog can muster without a word from me. He walked into the room, slowly testing the waters. Jack climbed onto the bed and, quite surprisingly, settled down right in Henry's usual spot to love night after night, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. He emitted a deep sigh, the kind only a dog can make when utterly at peace, and gazed at me with such genuine eyes that it felt like he was trying to communicate something. That moment it seemed he was assuring me, "Now I'm here to look after you." I paused, unsure of how to react. I cautiously sat beside him and tentatively stroked his head. To my amazement, he nudged against me in a simple yet profoundly affectionate manner, as if to say, "You're not alone." A smile broke across my face, driven by the unexpected comfort his small act provided, a comfort I hadn't realized I was missing. I spent a few moments caressing him, soothed by his steady breathing, and felt something shift within me from that day forward. Jack adopted this routine each morning. As soon as the noise of Henry's car dwindled, he would enter the bedroom, observe me tidying up, and then deliberately ascend onto the bed to take his spot where Henry usually slept. Quickly became the highlight of his day and gradually mine as well. Initially, it caught me off guard, but soon I found myself anticipating his presence whenever the house felt too silent. Jack filled that emptiness in such a unique way. He asked for nothing, merely existing beside me, which was exactly what I needed. Gradually, he ceased to be just Henry's dog and transformed into my companion, a quiet, steadfast friend who seemed to sense my need for support. Even before I did, without any prompt, he'd jump onto the bed, press his nose into my hand, or snuggle beside me, conveying through his simple presence, "I'm here, everything will be all right." Our bond grew beyond the need for words. Jack attuned to my emotions in a way that was almost inexplicable, a sensitivity rare even among humans. What began as a mere routine evolved into something indispensable in my life. Jack was more than just a dog sharing our home. He became my sanctuary on serene days, my resilience during tough times, and a constant reminder that affection can manifest in the most straightforward and surprising forms. However, there was one particular afternoon when this realization deepened. That day, I felt unusually vulnerable, burdened by an emotional weight that seemed insurmountable. As soon as Henry departed for work, I crumbled. Sitting on the bed trying to sort through my swirling thoughts, the sense of being overwhelmed engulfed me. Then Jack entered. He didn't bound in with his usual eagerness, but approached with measured steps, as if sensing my need for tranquility. This encounter was different, almost mystical. He didn't pause at the doorway or settle in a corner. Instead, he came right up to me and rested his head on my lap. His earnest eyes met mine, and in that instant I felt understood on a profound level. As I buried my fingers in his soft fur and tears began to flow, Jack remained motionless, offering only his presence, which was all I needed at that moment. It dawned on me. Then Jack was not merely a dog. He was my confidant, my silent guardian, someone who comprehended me without requiring explanations. He knew when I needed comfort and was always ready to provide his best. The loyalty and unconditional love that only a devoted companion can offer. After that, our daily routine became even more meaningful. Every morning when Henry left, Jack would enter the room, climb into bed with his usual tranquility, and snuggle next to me. It was our time, a sanctuary of peace amid the chaos. Sometimes I would confide in him, sharing my fears and frustrations, and he would listen with a focus that only he could offer. This bond was beyond anything I had ever anticipated. Jack was my comfort, my loyal friend, making the tough days feel lighter. Henry observed our evolving relationship with amusement, often joking that Jack had finally succumbed to my charm, but I knew it was more profound than that. Jack was not just Henry's dog anymore. He had carved out his unique place in our lives, irreplaceable by any of us. Then, on a seemingly ordinary morning, an event unfolded that would change everything. I was in the kitchen brewing coffee with Jack by my side, as always watching my every move. Suddenly the doorbell rang. Jack perked up but remained silent, observing as I approached the door. To my surprise, there was Henry cradling something tiny in his arms. My heart skipped a beat. "What's that?" I asked. Both puzzled and intrigued, Henry grinned, leaned in slightly, and unveiled a black Labrador puppy. The puppy's eyes sparkled with curiosity, his little wet nose eagerly taking in his new surroundings. My heart swelled with joy. This was a perfect extension of the life we had built with Jack. A new chapter filled with promise. "I thought Jack might enjoy a companion when we're away," Henry explained, his eyes twinkling with his true intentions. I was left speechless, but Jack seemed to grasp the situation immediately. He cautiously approached the puppy, gave him a curious sniff, and within moments his tail was wagging so vigorously it appeared as if he were dancing with delight. It was an unforeseen moment that brought a fresh, infectious energy into our home. We named the puppy Theodore. He was brimming with energy, endlessly curious, and as clumsily adorable as only a puppy can be. To my astonishment, Jack assumed the role of mentor, nurturing Theodore with a patience and tenderness that deeply moved me, watching them together, chasing each other around the yard, engaging in playful antics, or resting side by side. Through a day full of adventures, I realized that Jack's influence had not only transformed my life, but had also paved the way for even more love. The subsequent days felt magical. Theodore, keen to explore, learned from Jack at every turn, while I discovered our home felt more complete than I ever imagined. Jack continued our morning tradition, but now Theodore joined in. Every time the sound of Henry's car faded away, the three of them would jump into bed together as if this had always been their plan. Over time, I've learned that Jack was not just the dog who supported me through tough times. He was the unseen bond that unified our family. Jack taught me that love doesn't require grand gestures or words. It's found in the quiet moments and shared loyalty that asks for nothing in return. Now with Theodore in our lives, this truth is even more apparent. Jack taught me the value of unconditional love and how to create space for it to flourish today. Looking at Jack and Theodore, I see more than just three dogs. They are companions, teachers, and protectors, constantly reminding me that life's greatest lessons are often found in the simplest things: a look, a touch, the steadfast presence of someone who cares. Every evening, as Henry returns, we are greeted by three wagging tails in harmony, their joyful energy filling our home. Jack remains my steadfast companion, my confidant. But Theodore has introduced a new kind of joy, a lightness I hadn't known I needed. Together, they stand as living proof that love can always expand. We just need to be open to making room for it. Thus we continue day by day, our family rich in love and gratitude. Jack, Theodore, Henry and I each playing a unique role, yet all bound by a love that transcends words because ultimately what truly matters is the love we cultivate together in each shared moment. My story ends here. If you feel that this story is meaningful and brings useful lessons, please like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Thanks for listening and see you in the next videos.